Hello everyone, you're listening The Cypher Show, a Scradle original podcast. I'm Siddharth and today I'm really excited to post this first episode of the podcast. And today we're gonna see a pretty cool question that I always get frequently, and that is, how did I got into development? So how did I got into development? Even today I get a lot of phone calls from parents and even students on how do I get started with development, how do I get into programming languages, how do I learn a programming language, or what programming language to learn. So we're gonna discuss that today, and this entire episode is available as an ebook in Amazon Prime. Actually in Amazon you can buy that. The book is named as The Joy of Creation by Siddharth Pale. You can just go and search for the Joy of Creation and you'll be having the book as a result. Anyways, you can get the book if you want to read it in a detailed manner, or I'm gonna say just a summary of that book in this podcast. So let's get started. So first, when did I got into development? When did I got the interest to get into computer science first? Anyways, so actually in my home I got a lot of restrictions when it comes to computers. Like I can watch YouTube, I can do whatever I want, but I cannot play games, right? Because when I was 9 years old, I was really interested in learning computer science. Not only for programming, I actually got very much interested in game development. Okay, I admit that. Actually, not game development. I love to play games like any other kids would do. But in my home, I just got the same restrictions that every Indian parent usually have on their child, and that is not to play any video games on the computers, and that will just ruin the kid's mind. Actually, that's a different topic, and I don't want to get into that now because I'm doing a different episode. We can talk that in a later episode. Anyway, so I got that restriction, and due to that, what can a 9-year-old do in a computer other than playing games and watching YouTube videos and other stuffs like that, watching movies? There's nothing much a normal kid would do as a 9-year-old kid in computers, right? So that's why I just stopped using computers, and actually that is when I got into the computer science industry, right? So I just prohibited myself from using computers, and then the days passed and I started my first YouTube channel called as I don't know what's the name, Mind Mania, I think so. Yeah, so my first YouTube channel was named as Mind Mania, and that channel was entirely a vlogging channel, and I used to shoot and edit every single video on my tablet, which was a Samsung's Tab 2017, I think so, Samsung Tab A, which was not a high-end tablet. It was a low-end tablet. Of course, it has only 16 gigs of storage, and I need to shoot my videos and edit it and upload it directly from my tab. I didn't got any laptop. Even in my home, I don't have access to laptops or computers. The reason is my dad used to have his office laptop, which was provided by his office, and my mother used to work with laptop, not work, but she used to store a lot of files in her laptop. And that laptop also for almost 4 years it was in my shelf being dusted for a pretty long time, and that was not opened for about 5 to 6 years. And which means whenever an electronic was in shelf, then that electronic gets spoiled, right? So that's how the laptop was in my home, and I cannot use any kind of computers or laptops in that case. And that is when one day I was playing in a playground, and then I came back home, and then I switched on the TV, and then at the TV I noticed that something is wrong, really wrong with the television, and that is the TV is not switching on, right? So I was very scared, and I got very bored. I don't know what to do in that case, because my only entertainment on that time was my television, and other than television I cannot do anything, right? Other than, or I can post videos, I can shoot videos, but I need to consume some media, right? Before posting anything in YouTube, I need to consume to make myself clear in emotional way, right? So that's when the TV got spoiled, and I don't got any other media, which was really frustrating. And after that, what I did was I just sat quietly, and on the same day, at the very midnight, I just got a crazy idea to, that is to take my mom's laptop and repair it and use it for my own purpose. So I can't sleep the entire night. I was just thinking of how do I get into the laptop, or how do I repair it. I just wondered how do I get the laptop from my mom, because my mom won't allow me to use laptops, right? So I need to use a laptop. And then then I just got up from the bed when it was 5 a.m. and then I took the laptop from the shelf. It was really, really dusty, and I just switched it on, but it just showed me an error when I connected to the charger. So what I did was I just looked up into YouTube, and then what they did was really scared me, because they just used the screwdriver to dismantle the laptop, to brush inside the laptop to make it even better and make it work. So that is when I just took the laptop and I just opened it, and I just I have to make it work, because I don't have any other option, because the TV is also not working. So I need to prepare the laptop, I need to make it work. And then after 2 hours of hard work, when it was about 7 a.m. in the morning, the laptop finally switched on. But here's the catch: it didn't got into Windows. It just it's just booted into BIOS. So I just got scared, man, really, because I don't know anything about computers. And in that case, when a blue screen pops up, and inside that you get the utility settings and other stuffs, which just makes me more puzzled and more panic. So that is when I actually got to learn what is a BIOS, right? So that is when I got into the experience of using BIOS. And what I did was I just got into the boot menu, and I got two options, that is to boot Ubuntu or Windows. So Ubuntu was, that's I didn't even know how to use Windows. So how do I know what's Ubuntu? Right, so I cannot boot into Ubuntu, so I just selected Windows. And then when it was restarted, I got the grub bootloader, and inside that I have Ubuntu and Windows. It was a bit scary for a 12-year-old kid, right? So what I did was I just booted into Windows, and it took forever, because it was using an HDD, I think so. So it was pretty slow, and it booted into Windows after about 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, it just restarted several times. I booted into Windows, it updated itself, and then finally it was about 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and then I got the laptop into Windows. My dad woke up, he came out and saw me using the laptop. He didn't say anything, he just asked me, what are you doing? And then I just said that, okay, I need a laptop, so I'm just repairing it to make it usable, to get it worked. And he just, okay, just do it on your own. And he went, and what I did was I just looked into YouTube to make it usable, because using a laptop after 6 years without being restarted or switched on, it's just a whole nightmare. So I need to make the laptop work, and that is when I came across YouTube tutorials, and I used it, and then I factory resetted the laptop, and I started using Windows, right? So it was a pretty good experience for me. And what I did was, okay, now I got into Windows and now I can start editing. So I installed my first video editor, which was VSDC video editor, and when I started to edit the video, that's when I got a really frustrating experience, because it was 11-year-old laptop. Then how do I edit videos on that? It just lagged like hell, right? So my first experience with computer is just frustrating, and the main reason why I took computer is to edit my YouTube videos, because I don't know what's programming and I scared of programming, so I cannot get into programming directly. So I started working as a video editor in my brother's channel, and I closed my own channel and then I started working for my brother's channel. He used to shoot videos, I used to edit the videos, we used to upload videos together, and it was quite a long and it was a really good experience in my case. And then days passed. I just worked on my brother's channel, and then one day I actually accidentally booted into Ubuntu at the Grub bootloader. I really got excited because it had a new UI, it had a new experience. The cursor was in black color, which made me feel like I'm using a Mac. Because Windows used to have white cursors, and for the first time I'm seeing a black cursor on the screen, and that made me cry like, oh my god, what's this new thing? It's just exciting, right? For a 12-year-old kid, when you see something different in your computer screen, it just makes me happy. So I just logged into Ubuntu, and that is when I firstly tried Linux. So that was my first experience of using Linux. It was Ubuntu 16.04, I think so, and it was really a good experience using Linux, because I just got to feel that the speed of Ubuntu was just amazed me, because using Windows 10 on that old hardware, whenever I tried to open Google Chrome, let's say for example, if I want to open Google Chrome in Windows, I just click on Google Chrome icon, and then what I do is I just go to my restroom, and then I go to kitchen, and then I get my coffee ready, and after drinking the coffee, when I come back, the Google Chrome will be loading still without going into the Google's homepage. It was that much slow. But in Linux, it just fired up, not so fast of course, but still it fired up within minutes, because within 2 minutes the entire software, the entire Google Chrome was opened, and I just got really, really excited, right? So that is when I got to know that Linux is something awesome. But a common misconception which is in our community is that Linux is only for developers. No, it's really not, because Linux have been grown for almost I think so 3 to 4 decades, and many things have changed. You can even today you can install Ubuntu and you can use it without using the terminal. You don't have to use the terminal or the command line, because Ubuntu has its own app store, it has its own package manager just like Mac, and you can use any kind of Linux distribution. But the common misconception among people is Linux is only for developers. But we don't have to get into that topic, because today's episode is not about that. Okay, so anyways, and then what I did was I started using Ubuntu as my primary OS. I ditched Windows, and I started using Ubuntu. It was a really good experience because of the speed and the software support Ubuntu offered. Because the latest software which was running on the latest hardware was struggling to run on my 11-year-old hardware. But in Ubuntu, the case is completely different, right? Then I uninstalled Windows and I booted into Ubuntu entirely, and that is when I got into my first error, and that is when I factory resetted my Ubuntu system. The entire desktop environment just got erased, and I got into TTY1 login. If you don't know what TTY1 login is, actually, let's say you have the lock screen, you have the interface, and inside the interface you have the cursor, you have your desktop, you have your applications. You can use it graphically, right? But TTY1 login is something like it's like the command line login. You need to type commands, you need to enter commands to execute any kind of action inside the system. So that's called as TTY1 login in Linux, right? So I just got into command line and then I got scared. So what I did was, okay, now literally I just got scared. So what I did was I booted it into Windows once again. I mean, I know I ditched Windows, but still I booted into Windows and then I deleted the partition. That's when I made my first mistake, everyone. So I just deleted the partition of Ubuntu, and then when I restarted my computer, I got grub rescue error. So that is my first experience with computers. Anyways, so that is the first error I got in Linux. I mean, the grub rescue error. And then I just got dizzy on seeing the grub rescue error, because whenever I tried to restart it, it just got me into the grub rescue error. It didn't got me into the grub bootloader to boot to Windows. And even if I tried to boot into Windows from BIOS, it just showed me the grub rescue error. And then I actually showed my dad, and he got really mad, because the laptop has a genuine licensed copy of Windows 10, and he thought that I just deleted the entire hard drive by deleting the operating system. So he got really mad at me. He actually scolded me, and he went. And after that my mom came, and then she talked to my dad about the case, about the scenario. He said, and then she said that, okay, what can we do? He's learning and he will learn, and let's just don't mind it. Okay, we can go through this. So she came to me and said that, okay, I talked to your father, you can, and also you also on your side, you need to try to fix that error. Okay, so don't leave it just like that. And that actually motivated me into fixing the error. So what I did was I watched some YouTube videos, and then I fired up Windows recovery environment, and then I fixed the error. And it took me a whole day to fix the error, because it just for a beginner, I need to learn everything step by step by creating a bootable USB to something like executing commands from command prompt. Everything was literally new to me, and that is when I actually booted into Windows. And then at that case, I uninstalled Windows and my Ubuntu system, and then I started using Solus Linux. And then the days passed, I just started using Linux, and that was my first era of using computers in my whole life. I mean, on my own. And now I had my own, and now I have my own laptop, I have my own YouTube channel. So what do you need in pandemic, right? You now you can do whatever you want because you have your laptop. And also my home had broadband connection, so there is no interruption in internet connection in my home. So yeah, that was my first experience with computer science. And I think 18 minutes is enough for this episode. Anyways, we can talk in next episode about how I got into development. I know I didn't even touch the period about development yet, but still we can talk that in the next episode, because the time is up, and I'll see you guys in my next podcast episode. So you're hearing the Cypher Show, a Scradle original podcast, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.